everybody. Welcome to Anime Sicko's podcast. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery, anime, gaming, posting, and shops. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
One thing I love is that there's only one Joe. There's only ever going to be one Joe. It's you.
That's what everybody at school said, too.
Yeah. It's a very uncommon name.
Because I killed the old one.
You killed the old one. I bet you're going to continue that. If there was another Joe here, you know what I would do? I would scream as loud as I could.
I don't do Bushido anymore. I gave up, so he's safe if he's here.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Thank God, because I just looked a little bit to the left on this call, and there's another fucking guy. It's got Joe in the corner. Fuck. We got a cast. It's Joe Kassabian of the Lions Led by Donkeys podcast. Hello, Joe.
Hello. I think we have to do that thing from the Jet Li film, the one where we have to go and kill each other to become more powerful because there can be only one Joe.
Yeah.
I would love to absorb another Joe and get a huge power boost.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's more of a Jet Li, the one situation, or given the context of the show, more of a perfect Cell Joe.
Yeah,
I'm definitely sure that.
Yeah.
Zenkai boosts are occurring.
I am
sure.
reminded of Piccolo just fusing with Kame, and it's just like there was no issues and he's better. I loved it. It was just a slam dunk. God's gone, but it's in your buddy, so we're fine.
Yeah.
I love to absorb God with my homies.
Joe, not fuck. Guest Joe Kassabian.
You can say Smart Joe, too, because he wrote a book.
And it knows about history. What we know about history is, like, did you know that Chrono Trigger had Dragon Quest Man and Final Fantasy Man working on the same game? They usually work on different games. That's why they had those different titles that I said, in front of me. Anyway, Joe, we've listened to one episode of your podcast, Lions Led by Donkeys. In preparation, we wanted to be able to speak with some knowledge about this show. We don't want to be completely ignorant. But, we only heard one. We don't know the full depth and breadth of what the show has to offer. I heard mention that there is, associated with this show somehow, a Tom. Are you telling me there's Tom and Joe on this fucking show? I'm going to lose it, man.
That is correct. Yes. The only thing that your show is missing is a different guy named Nate.
What? Dude, do you know any Nates?
Are we Bizarro them?
You might be, because we did also create like a side series to talk about anime because me and Tom's annoying anime bullshit kept infiltrating regular episodes. So we did accidentally become the Bizarro version of you guys.
I think as a kid I might have lost a finger and it grew into both of you.
On the document for this episode, I have as the little joke underneath the fun fact that there's a Tom and Joe on both shows. Where do you get off, Buster? And then I started laughing at get off and Buster.
Oh man.
Anyway,
I want to ask a top line question and then also contextualize for the listeners a bit. You do military history. It's your that's what the podcast is about. It's your area of expertise. You served in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is, how do you get into military history without becoming like a weird, off-putting guy?
That's a great question.
That's actually a surprisingly difficult question to answer because I ended up getting into military history before I was in the Army because I just liked the topic in school. And this was the era where like the History Channel and Discovery Channel actually had history on TV. So like I could consume that, I could read books, do well in school at that subject only. My math and science teachers wept at my abilities of disappointing them.
But you knew every type of gun, right?
I mean, I'm still not a gun guy. I'm absolutely not a gun guy. No, I don't give a shit about guns. I live in a country where it's virtually impossible to own one, and it's amazing.
I think that's a huge element of how to not be a fucking scary freak.
What I associate with like the military history off-putting guy is just like rattling off letters and numbers of different munitions.
Yeah, I think that's a different kind of military history guy. Like the off-putting military history guy to me is like the ones who are intensely into, say, like the American Civil War, World War II, and go down a very strange path. And I think that is because depending on where you are from, obviously being from America, you know, a lot of shit that you consume regarding military history is this, it boils down to like the great man of history theory for everything.
Yeah, there was a person who got it done in every context.
Exactly. And this guy is great and perfect. And, you know, Hitler would have won World War II if it wasn't just for this one thing. Or like, it's so chock full of psychos that, like, I remember one time I went to a conference back when I still worked in academics, which, oh God. And I was on a panel with this guy who went into history after being an officer in the Army, which I was not one. And his thing was, because my show had already started, which is obviously, yeah, the history is solid. Like I pride myself in the research that I do for the show, but it's full of very strange humor, right? And he was very upset by that because, like, I don't feel that it brings enough gravitas and honor to the sacrifice of these men. I'm like, dog, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think these guys would give a fuck. Like, because I was a lower enlisted 17-year-old and I was saying the same shit. And you were an officer in charge of idiots like me. And you know we were saying the same shit. If you go back in time 100 years, 3 hours before D-Day, those dudes are drawing dicks on the inside of the bathrooms.
Yes,
and
they're
off.
puking. They're drawing. Yes, absolutely. It is. Yes, it is not to say what was accomplished was not amazing. It's just like we refuse to look at the human element of it, which is a bunch of guys who last year were in school drawing dicks are now on these boats drawing dicks going to Europe.
Yeah. It's someone's like, I see your dick drawn game. It's amateur. How would you like to go pro?
The whole, I think, I mean, I understand the Kilroy thing as a sort of shared cultural phenomenon, something that all the army men can draw. But I appreciate that. I understand that it's their culture. I wasn't there.
Drawing dicks is our culture. All right.
I think, and anytime there's a Kilroy, it's like could have been a dick.
Yes, it probably started as a dick.
Yeah. Yes.
I fully believe that someone drew a dick and balls on the wall and someone got really sensitive about it and we're like, oh God, we have to put hands on this thing.
Yes, definitely. I think also a major way that you can be into military history without becoming an off-putting sort of scary guy is to in a way you have sicko mindset about it. I don't know if you're aware of sicko mindset.
Because like you understand honor's not real, right? Like
yeah. Honor's not real. These are not smart people.
I'm not an academic samurai, dude. Like I don't like. I find the whole concept of like, yeah, there's a way to treat your subject with respect, and to me, as a historian, like treating your subject with respect is doing legitimate research.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like
pretending you're a knight, I guess.
Yeah, like open mouth kissing like General Patton. Like that, what is the fucking point of this? I don't give a shit. Like these people should not be honored. The people, in my opinion, that do need to be treated with respect is the poor fuckers who didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Not the guys who started it and in fact really loved doing it.
If you are treating history with honesty and a clear eye, you will note that history is in fact a series of things done by people. Now, what is one of the most notable things about people? One of the most notable
they fuck up. They goof it. They chunk it.
Stupid as shit type of people, guys, is what they are. So that's going to come up quite a lot.
Tom and I always say if we were on D-Day, like we were back in time and conscripted, we would like be the guys that get shot before the doors even open.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, for sure. Me too. Like it's like one of my favorite things that people like to do is like, oh, if you could have done one thing at this particular battle, what we've done, I'm like, I probably would have gotten dysentery shit myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and then stepped on a landmine.
Yes. Everything you think you would be doing, you'd be doing with diarrhea.
Yeah. I mean, I fought in the 21st century and I still got dysentery. It sucks.
It's so bad. I remember one time in college, I went to paintball with my buddies. And I'm like, I've never done this, but it might be fun. No, it was exactly what I fear in D-Day happening to me. It was just like, all right, the round begins. I wonder what I'll do. I get hit.
Yep. That's it'd be like that sometimes. Like we have a saying on the shows: it's never a good time to go camping in the woods with thousands of your homies.
It's true. I don't even like going camping in the woods with a few. I stay in my house.
Yeah, why would I want to go anywhere else? All my stuff is there, and I pay for it.
I was about to say there's no video games in the woods, but the Steam Deck has revolutionized that. So maybe they should give all army men a Steam Deck. That would be a huge.
I have a wonderful synthesizing question of all this and for the guests. Can I do it?
Give me.
Other Joe, Smart Joe, Better Joe. Do you fuck with all those Paradox games that are like Hearts of Iron and stuff?
Nope, never touched them.
I think actually that's why you're normal. I think that's it.
It helps, I think. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from those games. Like, I think that it's one of those things, kind of like EVE Online, that when I read about, I should 100% be into.
Yes.
And then I try to play, like, oh, this is just spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the issue is it's filled with people who play this.
Yeah, if I wanted to play this, I would just be an accountant. I don't know.
The thing is, I kind of like spreadsheets, but if a game is just spreadsheets, then I'm just like, "Full, get the hell out, fuck you."
And I personally have a strong distaste for alternative history. Not because like I find it insulting or anything like some people do. I just think that getting way too into alt history leads you down to some very strange paths. And
giants are real.
And some incredibly confusing, incomprehensible political beliefs.
I mean, I think the obvious go-to that all alt history funnels down to is what if the Nazis won? And
that's what like all of it boils down to. Is like, what if the Nazis won, and or what if Japan won, and or what if the Soviet Union conquered Western Europe? Like those are the three biggest ones. The only other one that I've ever seen is Harry Turtledove. Is like, what if the Confederacy won?
Yes.
It turns out the answer to all of those is the same, which is really bad.
Yeah,
you don't need to talk about this for hours.
Expanding slaveocracy. It's gonna be bad.
And if you're trying to write a long project about it, it's just like, I can't all be bad. It's so one note. There must be some good part. I'll put it in just for balance. And then it's like, oh no, you've started a dangerous road of thinking. It's never an alt history of just like, what if things were good? Like, what if in like 1500, everyone was like, Europe should be socialist forever.
And what if the first guy who made a gun was like, this is terrible, and chucked it into the sea?
I did this on accident. We got to get rid of this thing.
This is a horrible idea. I don't think there's anything wrong with the games, for sure. Like, I love the Total War franchise back when it was like still functional. Like Creative Arts, the studio that makes it, just can't make games anymore, really.
Yeah. That's the case for, I think, everything, right?
Yeah. Shogun Total War is like the most amount of hours I've put in a game. A lot of that has to do with it was the only computer game I had available to me at the time and had no internet. But it's
okay.
fine.
So my follow-up question was going to be like, why Shogun? Because there's like 800 of them, and I was just like, why that one? But it just seems like that's what you had. I just wanted to hear like, I really need the guys to be lined up in this certain way.
Shogun 2 has some of the best like firearm type tactics for gameplay in the series, so that definitely slaps. But like, I think it's the rule with 4K strategy games, same with like any Paradox game or anything else, it's like, just don't be fucking weird about it. You know, like you can like anything, just don't be fucking weird about it. Or if you are weird, you got to do what we do, and we keep that to ourselves.
Yeah, that's so smart. Speaking of smart, you are currently doing something which is, on paper, if you look at the best practices these days, the smart thing to do. But from our perspective, every time it happens, we just shake our heads and go, how can this possibly be the right thing? Which is to say, you are currently, during your appearance on Anime Sicko's podcast, doing your book tour. You're promoting. That's why you're here, among others.
This is our second book tour guest. We're so literary.
That's right.
Well, our
That's
third.
right.
We got Jacob Dallas. We got Devin Price.
You're absolutely
Devin
right.
Price
You're
was
absolutely right.
years ago, so I understand.
We're a
why it's out of your head.
library.
Yeah, we a library.
The primary literary podcast in Chicago.
Hell yeah. You have just written and are on the cusp of releasing a novel type of storybook called The Highlands Burn. Am I correct? Is there a map at the beginning of this book?
So we're working on a map.
Yes.
The problem with this is I'm not a map guy, but
Mhm.
everyone else is. So like I sketched a map out coming up with the story because of course I did. Like the things need locations, these locations need to be tangible things.
Yeah.
And then like can we see the map? And I look at it and it's just like the most dog shit thing you've ever seen because I'm not an artist.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, we should probably get an artist to make one of these.
Mhm.
But we're working on it, yeah.
Hell yeah. Tell me about the book. What do you got against the Highlands? Haven't they suffered enough?
Oh, I like the Highlands. The culture and history of the book is based on Armenian history and culture. Because I myself am, my last name did not give it away, am Armenian. I have lived in Armenia for a long time. And I am a consumer of science fiction and fantasy of various different things, books, movies, video games, you name it. And over the years, I've been trying to inject a little bit of that into my books. And I kind of got some weird comments every now and again. Like, for instance, when I started writing, someone asked if I wanted to use a pen name because my surname would be confusing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Or if I wanted to change the name of some of my characters because English speakers would find them hard to pronounce. Like, dog, like, I remember when Game of Thrones came out. If people can handle that shit, they're fine.
Yeah.
Right? White people love Game of Thrones. And finally, I wrote a story that is heavily couched in Armenian military and cultural history. And I pitched it around. People didn't really like it. Editors, so forth. They said that it wouldn't resonate with their audience, which I know what that means.
Mhm.
Too Armenian.
Well, the thing is like, if you don't understand anything about Armenian culture and history, you're not going to lose anything from reading the story. You know, if you are a sicko about Armenian history, it's like finding Easter eggs. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
It's like when you read Empire of the Wolf or something and you don't have any understanding of African history, you're not losing anything by not knowing. It's just like a little extra Easter egg. And it's cool that we live in a world now where representation is like something you can actually achieve if you have a history and culture and knowledge of something that isn't just British.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to write that book, and I wanted it to feel as realistic as possible. With there's a little bit of the term is low magic, to spice things up a bit.
Okay.
And it follows a young man who enlists in a mercenary company, very much inspired by Glenn Cook's The Black Company.
I love that book.
yeah.
I haven't read all of them. I've read. What if there was a bunch of guys?
Yeah. And Cook was a Vietnam veteran. He took a lot of his experiences being around dudes and folded them into that so the people felt very real for their situation. It doesn't mean that they're nice, sunshiny characters that are full of smiles and shit. It means most of them are pretty damaged.
Because they're like mercenaries. Like it checks out.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to achieve with this book. I was really inspired by Glenn Cook. Taking his experiences and doing that. And I really wanted to try to create a new idea of a black company, but for a more modern, the genre is called gunpowder fantasy with like rifles and machine guns and airships and things like that.
When you say low magic and gunpowder fantasy, if I were to, let's say, in this world, shave some of my bone off and put it in with the gunpowder in my bullets, would those bullets, what sort of magic effect would occur, if any?
In the universe I created, I think you would just die of a horrible infection.
Well, I think that would probably be true in real too, so that makes sense. That's strong.
Which also tracks
Yeah.
because the technology level and everything is very much like late 1800s. So
Okay.
you are going to be getting dysentery in the forest with 1,000 of your homies.
Yes.
Let me ask a further permutation on Tom's question. I am a median magic user in this low magic setting. What kind of spells am I casting?
So it depends on where you are from.
This is geomancy. I love it.
So there is certain cults and religions and things like that. It's not that some people are not capable of doing everything. It is more so as like they believe in like a religious dogma gives them certain aspects of magic, which isn't true. But for example, there is the cult of the Holy Mother, which believes in blood magic. But you can't cast magic without paying something to cast the magic.
That's real.
So you have to cut yourself and use your blood. Other people's blood doesn't work, which also means that, if you use too much of it, you just kind of black out and die.
Yeah, you get real dizzy.
Yeah, get real lightheaded over here.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And there's also sick revolvers that shoot magic as well.
Okay. So I wasn't too far off with my bone bullet question.
I
Almost.
love a big flintlock slash. It just has the gun has to have a hammer on it, and it has to shoot out magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got to be able to fan the hammer like it's the Wild West, but you're just shooting like effectively artillery shells out of it.
Mhm.
That's definitely what I was going for.
Oh, that's dope. That's good.
It's like the only way you can make a revolver even cooler.
I really wanted to like a lot of the technology and shit is very much like spun off of my love for Final Fantasy VI to the point of in early drafts that I was pitching to my editor, they would have written something very similar to chocobos instead of horses. And he was like, Joe, this is too on the nose. You gotta make them horses. And I really didn't want to. I tried lizards. I tried
You should have done
everything.
Magitech armor.
I tried everything until I finally fine, I'll use fucking horses.
I mean, when you said airships before, we were just talking about Setzer last episode. I'm like, I bet Setzer is flying that.
Like, who's the most free person that's ever been conceived? Setzer, because he's a gambler with an airship.
Any Sid, but especially the one from Final Fantasy IV who is indestructible.
Yeah, he's immune from death, dude.
Yeah, I like nobody ever tells you the true enemy in that story is actually Sid because he's an undying airship god.
Yeah. God damn. Hell yeah, this book sounds pretty good.
I would like to think so, but my opinion might be a little biased.
So can I want to ask you the Sigo question, but I want to ask you more on the Armenia stuff briefly, just because I don't think for our audience, I don't know if the base context of understanding is just like baked into the Armenia culture. There's a genocide that was denied, and then there's like basically another one ramping up, right?
You could say it's ramping up.
A mobilization. I don't know. It's scary, right?
Well, there was a small, not part of Armenia, but full of Armenians in Azerbaijan.
Yes,
that declared independence in the 80s. It was de facto independent for the last several decades. And 2 years ago, it was completely wiped out. 100% of the population was forced to flee or was killed.
Just gone. Just all,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. But one of the things that I wanted to do, and this is something, and for people who have no knowledge of Armenian history or culture, totally valid. There's really not a lot of us kicking around out there. To be fair, there's a reason for that, but it's a vaguely but not quite Middle Eastern culture, right? What if Iranians were Christian? That's pretty much us, right?
Yeah.
You have your own language and alphabet, but that's kind of immaterial to the whole thing. And when Armenian artists tend to create art, they always default to the things that we always hear about, which is the genocide, right? It's kind of the elephant in every room of every Armenian-related conversation. I wanted to make a story that has nothing to do with that.
Hell yeah.
Of course, there is some things that bleed in. Specifically, before the Ottoman Empire conquered Armenia, and before the Russians then conquered Armenia, everybody likes to think that we were this like peaceful mountain people that never bothered nobody, and we're just good little boys and girls herding our goats around. When in reality, we fucking hated each other. Like, if you're from one valley over from where I'm from, I hate you and everyone you're related to. I'm going to shoot you in the head if you come around. Like, it's very much like internecine clan conflict. And that is what I wanted to, like, I wanted to do that. So I wanted to bring in, like, our traditional religions before Christianity. And I wanted to make, like my first time when I moved to Armenia and, like, leaving the capital, which is, quite a modern place, and I would go out to the villages, which very rural, very poor, to go and stay out there. And I wanted to kind of imprint that feeling of those places in the novel. Like, I wanted you to feel and smell and taste everything that I did. Because it's just a place that nobody ever hears about. And you're never going to go there. Like, Armenia is getting more tourists, sure, but, like, you're not going to go to some bumfuck village 4 miles south of the capital. Like, you're not going to do it. And those places are just kind of magical to me in a way.
Yeah. If I'm an American going overseas, I'm going to Paris. Sorry to say it. That's just the facts.
Gonna say it's kind of lame, but I live 3 hours away from Paris. I've gone there once. That was good enough for me.
Okay, I gotta ask this because I'm trying to, like, get more serious about, like, writing, especially writing as as a craft, and rather than
practice.
Yeah, practice rather than, like, oh, I have an idea, let me just execute on it and done. Perfect.
Sure.
Process over. I would love to hear about a writing process that demonstrably works. I mean, you do produce books. So, like, how you do it? What's your way?
I think of an idea. It could be a single character. Like, when I was thinking of Highlands Burn, I thought of a single scene.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it out of my fucking head. So I wrote it down. And that turned into, okay, well, what would this village look like? Who would be living there? And this turns into what is called an outline.
Yeah.
This is like characters, their motivations, settings, antagonists, protagonists, all that stuff. It's effectively, once you get it down, it turns into be more of a checklist than just a massive document. But you take your single little idea that every story starts with, and you try to flesh it out.
Yeah.
Until it really feels real to you. And I know that sounds really cliche, but you're just going to have to trust me.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to flesh out your idea until you go, damn, that fucking whips.
That's real.
Tip of the spear approach, right? It's just like, not to be clear, not that I've ever written a book, but the parallel here that I think I resonate with is, like, if I'm doing a piece for a performance, my opening move is just, what's a joke I like to, like, I want to fucking say something that's good. Like, I have it, and that is the scene, so to speak, that I then go backwards from. Obviously, you have a lot more infrastructure to put in place. I'd love to hear about what your actual, like, but in share time looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say every writer is completely different. If you're Stephen King, this process mostly just boils down to cocaine.
Yeah.
But for me, I spend more time writing the outline than probably the manuscript, the rough draft.
Interesting.
But when I'm in the process of actually, say the outline is completely done and I'm working specifically on the manuscript, I make sure to do that first thing. I don't know why. I write better in the morning after a single cup of coffee. I can't do fuck all else. Like, I'm still stumbling, half asleep at that point, and I'm barely conscious enough to let my dog outside. But once I have that single cup of coffee, I'm good to write. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but I will get at least 1,000 words done. Most of the time, 2,000. But the problem is once that turns into an all-day activity, whatever you're like, you can't force it. Like, sometimes I'll sit down like, all right, time to work. I got nothing.
Yeah.
And whatever I force out, I'm going to end up deleting anyway.
Yes.
And you're going to go through that when you edit, and it's going to be a lot of shit you have to edit out, but you don't want to start your day churning out crap. So if I end up having to really force it going, I just move on to something else and I don't work on the manuscript that day. But most of the time, I would say actually on the manuscript in the process, anywhere from 3 to 6 hours a day.
Okay.
And editing is a different beast entirely, especially once you get into the swing of things. 2,000 words can come really goddamn fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have finished my days, and I never go over 2,000 words.
Okay. Even if you're going nutty, even if you're in sicko mode and they're just shooting them out.
It's because there's a definite end, and that's good for your like spiritual reasons.
It's good for exactly, like, you don't want to, like, I know everybody, I come from a place of privilege from being able to say it's like, I don't want to end every day completely annihilated.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do fuck all else. I just want to lay down. And writing is quite exhausting, especially if you have to really struggle that day. But at 2,000 words, it's my cutoff because I always want to end on a high note. If I'm absolutely killing it that day, I could walk away, start working on my podcast or whatever else, feeling really good about myself, which is a rarity. Or if I had to really struggle and grind to hit that, like, well, I still did it, because that's the hardest thing that people like put an artificial barrier in front of them is they just don't write.
Yeah.
In share time. In share time.
It could be 500 words. It could be 1,000 words. Set a barrier set a cap for yourself and just go for it. If it sucks, who gives a shit? Like, unless you're trying to pitch the manuscript, in which case you got an editor. Yeah. But like, the hardest part about writing is writing.
Yeah.
You can overthink it. You'll put barriers in your own way that nobody else would ever do. But ass in chair time, as you say, like, just fucking write. If at the end of that 2,000 words you have 500 words that are worth a shit, great. You still have 500 words that are good. But you still wrote 500 words, you know?
Yeah. No story sucks more than getting handed a blank paper and just like, this is my piece. And it's like, it's terrible because there's no words there, brother. I love that. I resonate a lot with the writing that I have done. My sort of big weakness that I'm trying to overcome is I do not have that discipline, that craft, that infrastructure, as you put it. But like, when I do have like the spirit move me and I'm like, well, I got to write this piece, I got to do it. The thing that has done so well for me is like, there's no need to justify or work up to putting in some shit you think is sick. Just do it.
Yes. Yes. You don't have to eat your vegetables for every choice or something. That's very strange. The one thing that you said earlier, which I identify with, which is like the idea of like writing and then have nothing left, and the next day like you're kind of like empty, the feeling of forcing through it, again with the caveat that I've not written a book, but I've had to like produce a lot in a short amount of time. What I have found has helped is writing up until the point where it's like, okay, I know exactly how this next part's gonna go. I'm not gonna do it because when I sit down the next time, I'm gonna just fucking hit that shit as a momentum starter.
Yeah.
And I find that's very effective.
In my opinion, it's going to sound really stupid when I'm going to say this, but you know what really helps writing? Fucking reading.
Yes,
for sure.
Imagine producing music, but you don't listen to music.
I mean, there's thousands of people who do that, but yes, but they're wrong too.
It would be insanely difficult. And I'm not saying like you need to read things in order to like come up with your own ideas.
You just have to put something in your head.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're writing fantasy, you know what really helps? Reading fantasy novels. And I'm not like hammering that home. Read anything. Get into books. Books help books.
Yeah. I mean, especially if your intention is like, I want to write a book and then try to get other people to read it.
You should probably be reading those suckers, right?
You can't be like, please read my book. For me personally, though, reading these things is a fucking chore, and I hate doing it, and I won't, and I don't. But you have to.
One of my fucking pet peeves is for authors specifically. This is not towards readers, but like, because I've done the convention circuit specifically before COVID hit, because then I moved away and I've been in Europe ever since. But
congratulations.
Don't even get me started. But like talking to science fiction or fantasy, and I was like, oh, so like what are you reading? And they can't name anything that's been written in 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you gotta stop reading shit from the classic eras. Like, we all have respect for Isaac Asimov, but shit has been written since then.
Also, like, I'm sorry,
Come on.
Like, what were you 14 through 17 for if not reading Asimov? Like, that's the time.
Yeah, you were forced to read that in school anyway. I mean, at least I know I was, but like, and I'm not saying there's anything bad about that, but like, it really does hamper the evolution of these genres. I mean, I think that's a really big reason as to why a lot of fantasy up until about 20 years ago, and even then might be stretching it a bit, it was just all just British shit. And I'm not saying that from like saying British authors are bad or whatever. Like, some of my favorite authors are British, but like, there's so many different things out there, but we're all consuming the same shit from 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's all, like, not all, but very swords and sandals and sorcery.
Yeah, it's all like downstream of Lord of the Rings. British countryside magic, yeah.
And there's nothing like Lord of the Rings is what got me into fantasy reading. Like, I fucking love Lord of the Rings. I love it. But like, there's more stuff out there. We're not Tolkien. Let's stop pretending to be him. Let's stop trying to be him. Let's do our own thing. You can be inspired by him forever. Great. Like, I'm inspired by Glenn Cook. I fucking love Glenn Cook. I'm not Glenn Cook.
I think you're going to say Glenn Close every fucking time, dude.
I'm also inspired by The Devil Wears Prada. But like, you know, I'm not him. I have to do my own thing. You know, like it's weird that like an article came out, and you can cut this if you want, about Andy Weir, the guy who wrote Hail Mary Project, who they just turned into a movie.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
There's a lot of shit in the interview, especially the weird shit he said about Star Trek. Which, whatever, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but like they asked him like what his favorite science fiction was, and he didn't name anything from like 40 years from now. It's like, are you a sci-fi historian? What is wrong with you?
I gotta, like, this is a much less useful sample size, but like when I did take creative writing classes in college, I was sort of amazed at like what people read was either one of two things. It was, as you said, like a classic, and this is not I'm not talking the sci-fi context. I'm just talking about what are you reading lately? It's something I've already heard of because it was one of the school books, or nothing.
Yeah.
What was the last book you read? I think most people would probably answer something they were forced to read in school. And that is unfortunate. And I know that some people simply cannot afford books. Books are not cheap, especially where I live. There used to be a tax exemption here for books to make them cheaper. That's not around anymore. So books became,
capitalist hellhole you live in.
Yeah, like they took away, so now books are like 20% more expensive. But you know, pirating exists.
Yeah, I gotta say, my reading habits really improved in a huge way, and my pages per week skyrocketed when I realized, like, oh, I can go to the library. Like,
libraries are great.
There the whole time, huh?
Enjoy them while they're still around.
Yep. The Chicago Public Library System, I don't know if this is the thing that is like standard practice now, but they have a thing where, obviously nowadays it's all connected to the internet. So every time you take a book out, you get an email saying like, hey, you took the book out today. It's due back this day. But what they also do is they will take the list price for that book and add it to a big total. And at the bottom of the email, it says, from using the library, you have saved dollars.
It's so smart. It's just...
that rules.
I've saved like $1,000+ from library. It is unreal.
Yeah, if I had a functioning library where I grew up, I would have saved my family so much money.
Joe, not you, Joe. I know the answer for Joe the Sicko. Joe Smart Joe, Better Joe, New Joe. Replacement Joe? I have to ask you the question we ask all of our guests. I have a very strong feeling about what your answer will be. Are you an anime sicko?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I am an anime sicko to the point that, like I said earlier, we had to create a side series within our own podcast. So my Tom and I could talk about anime bullshit and not have it contaminate history episodes.
You needed a containment area.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. That alone just proves what a sharp instrument your mind is, because it takes a genius to understand that anime is an inherently shameful and contaminating thing. And I don't mean to say that it's a Japanese culture thing. We are very open that many different things that are not Japanese cartoons are anime. But there's
Yeah,
a
like
sort
King of the Hill.
Exactly. There is
Yeah.
just a sort of thing that like is kind of stinky, and like if it touches something else, it'll start to smell like it. And that's anime, and you gotta be ashamed of it. You gotta keep it in a little box, and you have to be very guilty over the fact that you had to make that box.
The shame level in the 90s was correctly calibrated.
Yeah,
It was much higher. I watched Adult Swim and Toonami in my basement where I belonged.
With like a blanket over your head too, right? Not like for jacking off, but like just so you could hide, you know?
What's your anime of choice? What's your go-to poison?
So my favorite of all time is definitely still undefeated Cowboy Bebop. There's been many things that have tried to dethrone it. Nothing has come close. More recently, I have been watching for our show. We watched Fooly Cooly, which is another one that I grew up watching, and is my first time watching it in many, many years. We're also started watching like Gundam. I gotta say, we picked the worst Gundam series on Earth to start with. We started with G Gundam, which is absolute dog shit insanity. And it's about 20 episodes too long.
This is exactly my fear with Gundam. This is why I'm not getting into it. It's because it's like, well, there's 50 years of it, and I hope you picked the right one.
And it makes no fucking sense. Like, I'm sorry. And you know, I'm a huge fan of JRPGs, so I can respect when a plot is so convoluted it makes no sense. And then you get fans of that thing like, actually, it makes perfect sense if you just do like, no, dude, just accept that it's insane.
It's a little clumsy. You can just admit it's clumsy.
That doesn't mean you're stupid for liking it.
Yeah, like, look, one of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm not going to sit here with a straight face and say that's a powerhouse of a story, all right? We can just accept that it's shit.
Haven't you experienced that universal thing that we all remember from childhood, where you're playing basketball with your childhood friends, and you say, hey, how come none of you guys ever talk about our childhood friendship? And they all go, it's because the GF in my head pushed the memories out.
Yeah, if Ifrit gave me a TBI and now I don't remember you. I love to get Shiva based CTE. And you know, I've been watching a lot more stuff outside of the show. Like 86.
We did an episode about that.
It whips ass. I haven't finished it yet. Really fucking good. I'm actually impressed.
Is there a second season of there was only one season when we watched it. Has there been more since?
From my understanding, there will be one. I don't think it's out yet.
If it's not out by now, because that was years ago we did the 86 episode. If you don't recall, listener, 86 is the military sort of sci-fi where the kids from the persecuted racial minority are put into mechas that fucking suck ass, made from landlord special Home Depot parts, and they're sent to fucking die in the endless forever war.
Yeah, they get a coffin with a gun on it.
and the rich people think they're unmanned drones. It's just like so very much on the nose. I loved it so far. Maybe it ends in a wet fart. I don't know.
If I recall correctly, it repeats its formula.
It's a bummer.
And you thought it was sad before. Wait until this latest revelation. You're just like,
I respect that though. I respect that because you know, we all watch too much anime. We played too many JRPGs. We have seen so many plots be resolved by, well, everything just turned out fine because we're all really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking sick of that. Maybe it's because I'm nearing 40, but like, I can still respect a good power of friendship storyline. but it can't be every storyline, you know? Like, we just watch you shoot your own friend in the face. There's no way that this story is ending on a high note.
Yeah, in a way, our friendship is a burden around our neck because wouldn't we prefer to, when inevitably you die, feel nothing?
It is not
exactly.
actually like funny in the context of the show, but like there's an episode where basically the handler who is put in charge of the 86 is like they're kind of like short and curt with her, and then there's like an episode where they're like, I just want to know you guys better, and then they're like, okay, well, here's all of our shit, and she's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like we hate you because your Sephiroth people put us in this position, and you want us to congratulate you for doing some Kamala Lib shit to me right now.
It's like, lady, we're all gonna die.
I'm gonna means test having your brains eaten by the robot army.
Oh God! And then I forgot. It's like, oh yeah, then your brother died. But then, like the robots, in his dying moments, the robots which can take brains might have took his brain, and also they might have spread that brain to every other robot. So every single robot is your dead brother. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but have you thought that you guys being rude to me makes me feel bad?
And also, don't be so rude when I'm slow with the ammo refills. I'll get to it.
Oh,
honestly, the rudeness, if anything, it hurts your cause. You think of that?
Have you ever thought that the more rude you are to me, the more I want you to die? Have you thought about that? The only thing that I really have to complain about that is I hate that the handler is the main character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit about her. Like, I hope an artillery shell crashes through an apartment window and kills her.
She was like a below replacement anime girl, right? I don't even remember.
Yeah. I don't remember her name either. Like, she's a completely uninteresting character. But other than that, the show's really good. I've stayed away from Gundam. The next series we're watching is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
So that will take up like a year of shows.
I love that shit. Tom, did you like bounce off? I don't remember, but I really love that one.
Yeah. It was a big blind spot for me. I tried to watch it, and I was just like, "This is really like." It's like I'm not grabbing onto anything. This is really weird, and like the pace is so weird that like I don't really feel like this world is like real, and I don't get what the whole thrust of it all is. And then I later learned that was because the Brotherhood remake was kind of like rushing through
it's the abridged version.
Exactly.
In a way.
It's like rushing through the manga material that the original had, and in an attempt to get to where the original diverged from the manga, so it can be like, all right, now the fucking real story starts. Forget that old shit.
Yeah, because from my understanding, the original was written, the original was made in the early 2000s in that era. Well, they still do this now, but it was a little different back then, as I'm sure you guys remember. It's like, oh, we've run out of manga material. Well, time to put in 6 months of filler.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the Hellsing anime, the first one, ends like that because it's like halfway with the manga, and then it just is like, what if I kind of get nutty with it? It just feels like a plot of like a Dreamcast game. It just becomes very different.
That's why they should do what Black Lagoon did, and that is make like 10 episodes and then just abandon it.
Yeah.
And 10 episodes that everybody recognizes as cool as hell, and then the show just ends. It doesn't have a conclusion. Just like, no, there's definitely going to be another season at some point. Nope.
Oh my god, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but this is something that like is always going to be like a screaming red siren in my brain because I can't believe it. So I watched the show 12 Kingdoms on Quinn Welsh Wilson's recommendation. It is a great anime, very, very good. It's got such that beautiful flavor of early 2000s no budget anime where they're doing their best. But it's an adaptation of a novel series. And it's got a lot of fucking lore and backstory. The world is very rich. It's very interesting. There's lots of stuff. There's lots of meat to it. It's great. And because it is such a rich world, we sometimes leave our protagonist for long stretches and follow big arcs elsewhere in the world with the understanding that this informs the political situation that our protagonist finds themselves in. So it's different, but it's still relevant. There is something like a third of the show, because there's one season, 45 episodes, they never made more. Like a third of the show is about this kid Taiki. He's a magic kid. I won't get into it. He's very important. He's a magic kid, and he's special. And like something like there's a certain level of magic kid we all expect. He's unreal magic kid, and like he's gonna do something really important. But in the present, we all know Taiki's missing. He can't be missing. It's like a big problem for the whole world for him to be missing, but he isn't. We have no idea where Taiki is. And we see like, again, a full third of the show is Taiki's like backstory and how he got to be where he was, where it was so clear that he is so important. And I am at like episode 30, and I'm just like, it occurs to me there's no chance that this TV show shows what happens to Taiki. I'm just looking at how many episodes are left. It can't occur. And it doesn't. You have absolutely no idea what happens to Taiki. So like, I know, I'll look it up. I'll look up what happened.
Got to read the light novels.
In the light novels, it has still not been fucking revealed what happened to Taiki. If you read them all today, you would have the same fucking knowledge that I do now.
You gotta love how like manga artists are paid, where it benefits them to never end their stories, otherwise they'll be homeless.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I remember the anime that I watched when I was very young, original run on Adult Swim, that the filler killed for me, and you're probably gonna find this very funny, was Inuyasha. That show is foundationally filler. If you just told the story without the filler, it would be like 12 episodes long. I think it has over 100 episodes.
I never watched
That was on every day after school, like forever.
Yeah. And from my understanding, it only within a couple years ago had a concrete ending. And it wasn't because the manga wasn't done. It was because like there was just the manga was also nothing but filler. I mean, the artist, I forget her name, absolute hustler, good for her. Like she made a killing, but it makes a horrible viewing experience.
Rumiko Takahashi is the author of Inuyasha, true master. She also did Ranma 1/2, Urusei Yatsura, and probably more stuff I'm forgetting.
Ranma 1/2. I had an incredible experience with the show that I've never watched, and I'll tell you why. So years and years ago, before streaming was a thing, you had to pirate shit from incredibly shady websites that you may or may not just blow up your computer with a virus.
Beautiful.
So I was still buying anime DVDs and like box sets and whatever. And I had never heard of the show before, but I was watching Inuyasha. I saved up all my money for my dog shit job at like the local veterinarians cleaning up literal dog shit. And I decided to buy a box set from, I want to say it was like Best Buy or something, of Ranma 1/2. I bring it home. I'm going to watch it. All the DVD cases are fucking empty. Every single one. I was like, what in the fuck? I go back and they're like, oh, some employee must have stolen them. We can give you your money back, but that's the last copy of the box set that we have. So I've still never seen this show. That's the only experience I have with it. No, it was not.
I was so ready for like stories about I tried to buy Ranma 1/2, but ... tend to end with like my parents were like, "What's this show?" And I explained the basic premise, and they're like, "You're getting electroshock therapy, child. Fuck this!
I am going to beat you, son." Now, my mom didn't give a single shit what I was doing.
Hell yeah!
And I tried to buy it, and I just got a whole bunch of empty plastic cases instead.
That's amazing.
I got my money back. I think it was like $30. It was a lot of money for me at the time. I still have not watched it at this point. I don't think I could watch it on principle alone. Like the universe has decided I shouldn't watch it.
Hell yeah. So you, in addition to being an anime sicko for anime, you were an anime sicko for the anime of video games, which is JRPGs. I know this because I first became aware of you because you were sort of the resident JRPG guy for the Worst of All Possible Worlds podcast. If you have not, listener, checked out the episodes that they did on Final Fantasy VII and Expedition 33, Claire Obscure, reverse that Claire Obscure's first. If you've not listened to those 2-part episodes featuring Joe Kassabian, you gotta. Also, you gotta play those games. They're incredible. So I hear that you got, I'm looking at the doc, you have some stuff you want to say about JRPGs, this is me setting it up. Say the things.
I think I brought this up over on Worst of All Possible Worlds, but one of the reasons why Expedition 33 is so good, other than like quality, actual adult storytelling, is that it respects your time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've played almost every Final Fantasy now. The last one standing for me is 5, and that's next on my docket.
That's a good one. That's solid.
I've heard. But the thing is like all those games, even Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, which are multiple discs long. I understand it's PS1, so the disc couldn't handle as much data, but like 40 hours tops, right? And that's if you really go sicko mode on some shit. Like you want to get your gold chocobo, it's going to take some time, you know? If you want to max out all your shit in 8, it's going to take some time. 40 hours at most. I just beat Final Fantasy 4. That easily the worst final boss in all of fucking Final Fantasy history. And I'm not saying it's from like a lore standpoint. I'm saying from a gameplay mechanic standpoint.
You were having a bad time.
That boss hates you.
The whole moon area is just so like fucking if I'm recalling correctly, when you get deep into the moon dungeon where the boss lives, there's just random encounters where there's like 4 behemoths, and you're just like, I have no fucking MP. Like, what are you trying to do to me?
That game hates you. Like that's some shit I would expect from like a Shin Megami Tensei game, which are another series that I absolutely love. But
I love fusing demons.
I love to fuse my demons and then get one-shotted by a random mob.
Yeah, maybe.
And then say I'm having fun.
and then that game, 20 hours. You cannot play a fucking JRPG now without spending 90 goddamn hours on it. And I call this the Persona effect. Another series that I do like. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Persona 3 is one of the best games I've ever played. But like now every JRPG is like, oh, we have to have relationship mechanics.
Yes.
For some fucking reason. There's gotta be a calendar because Persona did it.
There's
like,
a specific type of padding now.
Yes. It's nothing but padding. And don't get me wrong, like there's criticisms you can make, especially in Persona 5, which I beat when it came out, and the only reason why I was able to do it is because the same day it came out, I happened to have emergency surgery to remove my gallbladder. So I couldn't go back to work for a month, and I was like, well, I guess I'm beating this fucking game. And I'm not a guy to like I'm not a platinum hunter type of dude that's going to go for every achievement. It still takes you like 70 hours to beat.
Yep. Yeah, I think Persona 3 was like 90 hours for me.
Yeah, it can be a lot. And you can also I think Persona 3 is one of the most forgivable if you don't go sicko mode. But your experience may vary, especially with the original where all of your teammates were AI controlled.
That's the one I played. That was so fucked. And it's just, the fact that when Persona 4 came out and it wasn't like that, and you look back at how it was, and it was just like, you did that to hurt me. Like, you just did that to hurt me.
It makes the whole experience so much worse.
I don't know. You always talked about this show. This is something that lives in my head. I don't know if this was Persona 3 or it must be a Shin Megami Tensei game.
It's just my demons are a bit different.
My demons are a bit different. And then it uses a fire spell that reflects back and knocks everyone down. It's like,
oh my God. Oh, yeah, that was the DS one. Because that one is like, you have your party, but then there's like other samurai that have demons that are from like your little order.
Oh yeah, that was Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Yeah, and then so randomly like there would be this extra person which is like the samurai, and they would like just do pointless attacks that don't really matter. But they would also show up for bosses, which means they would also show up and trigger like boss immunities and wipe you out so stupidly.
Yep.
Like my favorite example is the fire one is good, but just like my demons are a bit different. And then he just shoots his gun, which he is immune to, and you lose your turn. And it's like, I love games.
Wow, thank you, Atlas, you fucking assholes. In Persona 3, you have one character that her persona has like charming abilities, which mechanically
dog shit on an AI thing, just dog shit.
And mechanically within Persona 3, fucking worthless. So you would never use them. But she, for some reason in boss fights, she just constantly spams them. It's just like, I just have one less party member, and you're my healer.
Yes. Hey, can I waste a turn? I'm going to do that.
And, like Persona 3 was kind of artificially inflated on accident by its own dog shit systems. But like, for example, Like the Trails series is really big. I think there's some quality in there somewhere, right? But the problem is like they became known for this very expansive lore. Like, you talk to all these NPCs, but there's this many lines of dialogue.
Yes, the NPC dialogue changes after literally every context in the story to imply that you have to always go back and like talk to everyone always. I'm probably not going to do that.
No, you absolutely don't have to. It's fucking pointless. The writing used to be actually pretty decent for a JRPG, but it's kind of like just evolved into like worse than original run of Pokemon shit. And in order to inflate the size and scope of every game, like the cast gets so much bigger to the point you just don't give a fuck about anybody. Now, of course, there's relationship mechanics. And every character always has to say something at every cutscene.
Oh, hell
even
yeah.
if it's just like, yeah, like, but you're
Let's
doing that
do
through like, but with like 15 cast members.
All right, let's go. Yeah, I love it. Woo!
So you have what amounts to be 20 hours of story, but it takes you 90 hours to get through them. It's like this only works for Persona, and arguably it works for Persona because you're doing the demon fusing thing, which is like crack. It hits, right?
Oh,
like
it's so
we
good.
can all agree with that.
And then also you see stuff you know from school. Like I know that's Ganesh. I learned that.
I know that's the weird penis on a chariot.
Also, you're listening to smooth jazz funk.
Yeah, and like everything about that game is just so well produced. And that goes like, you can say a lot about Atlas in general. Most of it's probably correct, but like they have skills when it comes to polishing their game. Even on PS2, their shit was on point, but the Trails series still looks like it could be on DS.
Yes.
I think there should be a D. What am I saying? We did a whole episode about that. The DS, it's a policy failure worldwide. There's not a thriving DS ecosystem.
There's like a Chinese Game Boy that's like a DS that's specifically like you can put a different game on top and bottom if you so choose, which, oh baby. I've seen like pictures of people being like, I'm watching King of the Hill on the top and I'm playing on the bottom.
Oh, that's built for me. Like I do most of my emulating on a Retroid 5. So I could watch something else in the background.
It's up to 5 now? I was learning about the Retroid 2. Retroid Pocket 5. What did we look at?
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, except I assume it doesn't like break if you look at it wrong. I mean, I've had the Retroid 5 for a couple months now. Honestly, some of the best emulating I've ever done.
This is a beautiful item.
Yeah, it caps out at PS2 for sure. Like you definitely can't emulate. Like I wish I could emulate Lost Odyssey on it, but I'm pretty sure it'd explode.
I heard you guys talk about Lost Odyssey on the Claire Obscure episode. I need to play that. So I didn't.
Yeah. Oh my god!
I didn't
it's
get
the
it.
best JRPG that's been left in a technological hole, not named Skies of Arcadia. Because like Skies of Arcadia is trapped on GameCube, unless you emulate it. And Lost Odyssey's trapped on Xbox, which nobody fucking gives a shit about.
This game is... I've walked past this game a million times because it just looks, respectfully, like Muso garbage, but it's obviously like an RPG.
No, it's very good. It's a turn-based RPG made by Mistwalker. It's really, really good. They brought in like an award-winning novelist to pen the story, and like there's this side thing called the 1,000 Years of Dreams, because the main character is immortal. So like you still have cutscenes, but they're like kind of in between chapters, and you find them as items. You'll get something called 1,000 Years of Dreams, where it will take like a little segment of something he's experienced over his 1,000 years of being alive and tell you this beautifully written story. Like a story that's so good that it's weird that it's in the genre, and it didn't do very well as a game. Almost certainly because it's on fucking Xbox 360.
Yes. The negative JRPG console.
Yeah, it was 2 discs long on Xbox 360.
Also, I mean, this is to speak of the power of Yoshitaka Amano. It seems crazy to think that this is a fucking Hironobu Takaguchi game with Nobuo Uematsu soundtrack that like didn't hit, and it is exactly because the art style, as shown on the box, as Joe says, looks like fucking shovelware bullshit.
It's just like my eyes go right over it. I don't feel one way or the other about it.
I don't disagree, and I do think that was another problem with the Xbox. They didn't want them to create what they wanted to create in the way that it looked. They wanted to make what they felt like Final Fantasy should turn into. We got Final Fantasy 13, which looks beautiful. Everything else sucks about it. And then we got Lost Odyssey, which looks like ass, and everything inside is really good. Like, there's other weird parts about how Lost Odyssey looks. Like, during cutscenes, everybody's kind of got Cash Patel eyes.
Yes.
It looks weird. But like the voice acting is good. The cutscenes are perfectly directed. The writing is magnificent. Very good turn-based combat. Another complaint is that turn-based can be quite a bit slow. I wish you could have a speed-up option, but it's also like really hard. In most turn-based games, let's be honest here, are pretty fucking easy, right?
Yes.
There's a few that are not. This one is difficulty level is more scaled to like a Shin Megami Tensei game, so that also turned off quite a bit of people who are used to. They were expecting a Final Fantasy, which are generally pretty easy. This game ate you up if you try to play it like it was Final Fantasy anything, really. So it didn't really hold your hand very much.
So here's the thing. I think my feelings of JRPGs come a lot from my sense of shame from interfacing with anime, which is like, I kind of like it when a JRPG is cruel to me and wastes my time, because like, what am I here for? I'm here to like grind away some hours where I'm like sort of 3/4 paying attention. So like,
yeah, well then Lost Odyssey is perfect for you then, admittedly, because you got to grind a lot in that fucking game.
Yeah. Like when you were talking, when you and the boys were talking about Exposition 33, you brushed past as a laughable proposition playing the game on hard, where you essentially must parry everything or else it is impossible to win. And you were like, that's insane and not fun. Don't do that. You're out of your mind. And I'm just like, if I tried to play Clair Obscur on normal or easy, I would be like, but I deserve it. Web. Like, I played it on hard and I fucking parried every single thing, and that was a main reason why I was like, this is the best game of all time.
I think that's good for people who are like into Souls like games.
Yes,
like you can turn it into one. Like you can turn it into one, and if you're into like a chill experience more akin to me, I'm fine with some grinding. Don't get me wrong. I hate brutality. Like there's a good example is Shadow Hearts. Shadow Hearts has a really interesting combat system with like the spinning wheel that sounds really cool. I lack the timing ability to get it to work. Same reason why when I was playing Expedition 33, I could not parry a fucking thing. I had to dodge everything, which made the game 100 times harder than it needed to be. But it effectively made Shadow Hearts unplayable for me because I couldn't do that. Maybe it's an accessibility issue, whatever. It's an older game, not expecting much, right? If I could slow it down a little bit with like emulators, I'd probably be able to enjoy it. But like, I don't like the getting my face smashed into shit. And if I am, like in the case of Lost Odyssey, because Lost Odyssey is probably the game I had to beat my head against the wall the hardest because of the grinding. I have to be rewarded with something like good quality story. Whereas most JRPGs, like Shin Megami Tensei, let's be honest here, everybody loves to talk about how great the story of Nocturne is.
Dude, it's just a shirtless guy going around. There's nothing.
There's barely any story in there.
I love it because of how little there is. I think it's actually a fun choice, but I'm not going to say it's a good story because like the beats of, in terms of getting a game going, which is a skill that every developer does not have. We know this. This is how the game gets going. It's time to go to school. Let's go meet your buddies. Oh, dude, something weird happened. Uh-oh, some guy's putting a worm in your eye. Let's get going. And that's it.
Blam, demons.
Like, that's it. Me jokingly reducing it is not actually reducing it in any way. Like, those are literally the beats. And your guy doesn't fucking talk because he's a JRPG guy. And he never put the shirt on again.
Yeah, and that's Shin Megami Tensei games up until Persona 2, arguably.
Yeah.
And, well, there's also the Digital Devil saga, which is pretty good.
I can't touch... There's too many quality of life issues on those for me. It's just too old.
Yeah. They aged like ass. I emulated them again recently. A lot of rough edges there. But they did build in a story there. You could really see how Persona 3 eventually formed out of the same studio, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's probably why Shin Megami Tensei after 5 and 5 Vengeance probably gonna die. Because Atlas's moneymaker is Persona,
Mhm.
and reviewers who had not played SMT4, which came out a really long time ago for the DS, but had played Persona 5, tried to
It's like,
play
this is me.
SMT5.
Why is it hurts especially too, I think, because like all the spell names and guys are the same, so you're like,
Yeah.
wait,
This is almost the same.
yeah, but I'm losing all the time. And like
And again, no story to speak of at all. Even for an SMT game, there's nothing in 5.
no, and in general, like those games don't have a ton of story at baseline because you have to make like the stupid choice in every game, which is like, do you choose chaos or do you choose order or do you choose the human way, which is messy, and that's usually the one where like you lose both ways somehow.
Yeah, and like it's hard for those meanings because like people are like, oh well, it's about ambiance. Like that's one thing. That's lazy fucking storytelling. 2, how am I supposed to give a shit about any side if anybody that is supposed to represent that side I have spoken to twice in 40 hours? Like none of this has any impact at all. Like it's one of the reasons why Persona 3 is probably Atlas's best written game
Mhm.
because the choices you make really mean something because they wrote characters in a way that made you care about them.
Also, I could not get into 4 because the stakes felt so lame compared to how well everything was ramped up in 3.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, 4 is a murder mystery in a foggy place, and
It's about going to Juness, dude.
Yeah, everybody's got to go to their local Juness. And Teddy. Fuck Teddy.
Oh yeah, Teddy is just so fucking annoying. But with 3, like, yeah, it starts out with like this creepy tower and stuff, but like it just fucking keeps getting worse, dude. And it just like has this feeling of like you are getting just like pulled into this thing that is literally the part of the game where it's like, yeah, the world's gonna end, so like I guess we should do our last month, however, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. I came around to 4. I played 4 on release, and after how much I liked 3, I was pretty disappointed. And then I played it again recently, a couple years ago, and I really came around. I liked it a lot more. But I still think it's a step down from 3. 5, I think, had the weakest story of the 3 because it really just boils down to like we don't like adults.
Mhm.
Yes, we're against bedtime.
Yeah. Like bedtime is an authoritarian structure.
They really blew it by doing the story is just let us repeat the same formula a number of times and then it over. They blew it by putting by far the strongest iteration first, and they're like, would you like to do that again but less?
Yeah, because the first guy's the sex offender, right?
Yeah, you like deeply hate this fucker, and you're like, I would love to kill him.
He is disgusting. Yeah, they should have made him a bigger character. I think up until they came out with, what was it, Persona 3 Reloaded.
Yeah.
Which so good.
Yeah, I love that.
But up until then, like I definitely had the most fun playing 5 because like presentation is just so slick and well done, and the art is good. The
Look
voiceovers
at the menus.
are great.
It's fun to just navigate the menus.
And then Atlas showed us what happened when they left that thing, but also tried to do the same things as Persona and Metaphor. And Metaphor did not work for me at all.
It was rough. I
did not give a fuck about any of those characters at all. But it took 90 hours to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it has a job system. That's why I played the whole thing.
But the job system is so shallow. Like I liked the job system in theory. Like I liked what they were going for, but I didn't like how they implemented it. They just had to make the job system attached to this external thing because they wanted it really bad to be like medieval Persona and couldn't commit all the way to the bit. And the characters were fucking lame. They tried to make things too overcomplicated. Like, but still the art, so good.
The menus.
So good. The menus is like the presentation, no complaints there. But the actual story was easily the worst thing I've ever played by Atlas.
Yeah, it was. The fact that Luis, the villain, the whole time was exactly what everyone thought at the beginning. Just like, surely there's going to be some twist.
Yeah, there's got to be something else in here. Nope, it's just been the same thing for 70 hours now.
The twist is that, like, you think he is one of the horn people, but the horns is a headband he wears to trick you, and it's like, I don't care.
Dumbest thing ever.
Why would I care? Why does that matter?
It's such a dumb twist. It's like, oh, actually, this mustache is fake. It's attached to my glasses. Like, so you expect me to believe that every single person in this world, in this game, is just so fucking dumb.
Well, yeah, you heard the dialogue, dude. That's one of the easiest things to understand.
That's fair.
As true as this all is, the fact is, the job system was in many ways a series of boxes to check off. So obviously I did them all and enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So you've expressed like super deep dive knowledge on JRPG. I want to ask a sub-genre question. Do you fuck with the strategy JRPGs?
Ooh, like what? What are you talking about?
Oh, like Final Fantasy Tactics, Unicorn Overlord.
Disgaea. Basically, is there a grid? What is it called? Tactics Ogre?
Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together. The
most insane subtitle of all time. It's so funny. Yeah, so do you fuck with it? For many of the reasons you kind of said earlier, which is just like, what is padding and what is game? I love the Disgaea games because, yes, they're just filled with not empty padding, but endless wheel spinning, plate spinning, because there's all these game systems. But it doesn't feel like padding the same way grinding does, because I feel like I'm being productive, like I'm doing a job.
Yeah. I think that there's a way to go about it. Like, for example, I recently played the re-release of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding in that game, horrible.
Yes.
Fucking horrible. And that game just actively hates you. Tactics Ogre is still harder. Because Tactics Ogre definitely hates you.
Mm-hmm.
But the stories are good enough that you'll suffer a bit. But the grinding in them sucks ass. Grinding in Disgaea is fun because they make sure to make that something interesting. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You get the flashing lights and the rewards and whatever. You're not running around in circles. Or in Final Fantasy Tactics, famously, when the best ways to grind is to throw rocks at your own teammates.
Yes.
For hours.
Yes, correct.
That's what you should do in real life with your friends. It'll toughen you up.
I think that is sort of like why I think Disgaea is an honest game. It's because there's they know you're going to grind, and they always set up like levels where it's like, oh, look, every guy you throw in here doubles his level, and you could throw him another guy. Like, they're clearly like, don't you want to fucking go nuts right now? Like, they're showing you. Like, don't you want to grind in a way that has never been ground before? And for that reason.
Valkyria Chronicles does stuff like that too.
Yes.
Valkyria Chronicles is really fun. I mean, that's not really a tactical JRPG, but kind of. Maybe strategy is a good subgenre for it. But they make grinding, you can do something different every time. Whereas in Final Fantasy Tactics, it's like, nope, you're just going to kill everybody on the field other than one monster, so the match isn't over, and then you're going to attack your own teammates forever.
Yeah, I tried to play Tactics. Everyone says it's like, oh, the best story, the best setting. And I mean, I played 12, which is the same setting, and I love 12.
12 is great. Tactics does not have the best story in Final Fantasy.
Well, okay. Well, I've heard some say that. That's why I wanted to try it out. And what I did was I booted it up, and it's like, I'm going to give it the college try. And it was so fucking esoteric and confusing, and the control scheme and the menu system was so fucking confusing that I didn't know what was going on or what I was supposed to do or how to make the Zodiac be right. And there was
it doesn't give a shit about you either. It doesn't explain anything.
The first battle took about 40 minutes, and I had done something wrong in the setup of the battle. So, like, my guys couldn't do magic when I thought they could, and it took 40 minutes for me to fucking lose. And I was just
and don't forget permadeath.
Yeah, so I stopped playing.
I think the same people that think that Tactics has the best story are the same people who think 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever. Like, everybody that was around when those games came out, or we're all in our 30s now or older. It just hit when you were young.
Yes, like the 7 is such a shaggy dog, very like 7 hits this point, which reminds me of like when a kid is playing with his action figures and he's like, oh, it's different now. And it's not bad, but it's just like you also were like 15 and you also have since absorbed more stories such that you're like, oh yeah, the execution on that left something to be desired.
Also, like the parts that you remember that are like the iconic moments, like being an avalanche and destroying the reactor. Oh, Aerith's death. Oh, so sad. Oh, so sad.
Then you go snowboarding.
Yes, exactly. Those parts are like 5% of the game, and like you spend almost like 3 times as much time as those plot points take hanging out in Gold Saucer.
Yeah, you're shooting hoops.
I think 7, the original 7, did something really, really well. Not necessarily narrative strength, because that story is fucking all over the place, but the presentation of its villain, that you can see how people lost that over the years, specifically with the remakes. Because the reason why Sephiroth is so cool and so terrifying is, other than the fact that we were 12, is that you never see him. Like the first time you see him, it's just a fucking blood everywhere and shit.
Yes.
Yes.
And the remakes, which I think do a lot of things very well, the one thing they don't do well is Sephiroth, because he's just there all the time. And he's a fucking gnat just buzzing in your ear.
He's supposed to be a infrequent, scary spice.
Yeah, you're terrifying. If you're around me all the time, it gets rid of it. It's like if you saw in Resident Evil, Nemesis was just sitting in a computer chair next to you, you wouldn't be very scary.
Also, like, Sephiroth's got his own thing going on, especially in like the first half of the game. Who cares? Why would he give a shit about what Cloud is doing?
Yes, so that's like the other thing that it makes him compelling as a character. And I was also, obviously everyone thought he was the coolest person ever when you played for the first time, but it's the fact that he's doing something and he doesn't care. Like, you're not in the story. He's like doing his thing. Which again contributes to his like all-powerfulness.
Yeah, you're side characters in Sephiroth's story. The main issue with the remakes is not just that, but it's the guy they got to write them is the guy who wrote Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Who cannot conceive of a story that makes any sense at all.
I don't understand why they let him write stories. He clearly
hurt him, like cut off his arms.
His great skill, and you have to give him this, is that he can design cool looking dudes with belts that you never even thought a belt could do this.
Oh man, he loves belts. He's gonna make a whole shirt out of belts.
And like you can your whole shirt and skirt. Isn't Lulu's skirt like 100% belt?
Yeah, it's all belt.
Amazing. Like the brain that can think of that is a rare talent in the world. And I would love to have him design my character's outfits, but do not tell a fucking story. Speaking of stories, I'm wondering if, because I'm always looking for someone to talk about this shit with. Have you played Xenogears? You played Xenogears?
Oh boy, I've played the entire Xeno story so far.
Way more than I've only done Gears.
Saga, Chronicles.
I've only played Gear, and like I love Xenogears as a sort of like an artifact of like it's a symbol for a type of expression, which is to say, someone had this idea that they cared about more than anything. Like, I have to do whatever it takes to put it out in the world. I know I'll do it through a video game. And what they weren't aware of is that to execute that shit in a video game is impossible on a profound level, and yet they tried anyway. And the fact that they kind of got there, like, the game sucks. Like, it is awful to play.
Oh, it's horrible to play. That game is not a fun experience at all.
But in terms of like the scope and ambition of the story, and like it being like good and not having a bunch I mean, it has stupid filler, obviously, but like compared to the
all
other
of the platforming sections.
You can cut all the gameplay out of fucking Xenogears as far as
they did that with this too.
This is the game that has the PowerPoint, right? That's just like, this happened.
Yes.
Yeah, they ran out of money.
Disc 2 starts with the characters sitting in a chair talking about the things that they have done. And it includes, like, we had to go through an exciting dungeon. There was a boss at the end. We won. And it was just like, oh my God.
I love the development of Xenogears because they got to a point when, like, well, we're out of money and we were only half done. And one guy's like, why don't we just release it now? And someone said, no, we have to finish the story. And then so we got the compromise, which is
It's great.
awful.
I mean, it's awful, but it's great.
It's so good. It'll never happen again. And you can tell that guy, the main developer, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head, that is just what he does.
Yeah.
Because the same shit happened with Xenosaga. It was supposed to be like 6 games long and rapidly melted all of their money. So it ended up being 3 with an absolutely unplayable pile of shit right in the middle of number 2. Like whenever you look up online about, oh, should I play Xenosaga? I was like, yes, the story is incredible, but play number 1, watch a YouTube video about number 2, and then play number 3. Awesome. Don't bother with number 2. This guy just keeps hitting it. And then finally, when given the chance and seemingly endless budget with the Chronicles game on Switch 1, 2, and 3, he can make really good games.
I mean, like, as bad as Xenogears is, it's very, like, there's so much about it that is, like, so special and, like, the best of the show. Like, I love the fucking graphical style. The highly animated sprites on the 3D backgrounds look beautiful to me. And just, like, again, the story's on another level. It's really confusing. It was translated in about 1/5 of the time that the translator would have needed to do a job that he was happy with.
Probably by himself. And you know, this was originally supposed to be Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yes, it was pitched as like this. Yeah. Can this be Final Fantasy VII?
And Square's like,
no.
Are you? No, we're not making that a Final Fantasy.
So get this. They're transporting a weapon that doesn't work, yeah? And it goes wrong, and it lands on some uninhabited planet. But get this. The weapon's alive. And stay with me. It thinks it's God. Anywho. It seeds the earth with these people, yeah? And it's just like, and are you telling me that the whole game is about a fucking truck fell over and its cargo fell out and little bugs popped up from the cargo and sort of did stuff? And it's like, yeah.
What if it looked terrible, played horrible, and you had to try to platform with polygons? It looks worse than Final Fantasy VII by an immense degree. Every character controls worse. The combat system, shit. And slow to make it worse.
Yes, it sounds interesting on paper. Like, you have to come up with these input combos, and it's like your character is actually doing martial arts combos based on the inputs you do, and you unlock new ones. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. What is it like in practice? Like, well, it's slow and it sucks. And in order to do good at the combat, you have to be doing the most powerful one available to you. And if you're doing anything other than that, you're going to lose. And the only way to get the most powerful one available to you is to just do it before you unlock it, and it doesn't.
Yeah, you just have to figure it out and then do that a lot of times. Also, you have to do this for 30 hours.
Anyway, let's get off that Xenogears.
I have one more thing on Xenogears.
Okay, fine.
As a JRPG head, it's always very funny whenever like, oh, what are your must-play JRPGs for everybody who considers themselves a fan of the genre? And Xenogears is always on there, and I'm here to tell you, don't play it. It sucks.
Yes.
Like, there's so many things that people just like, maybe it hit different when it came out and you were 10, and that's what something good looked like. But it is 2026. There's no way you're going to enjoy this shit. It is not going to work.
But I will just give a counterexample of it's terrible. Like, as a game, it's one of the worst ever made. I loved playing it so much, and I would put it on the must plays just because it does. Like, I've talked about this in the past. I've tried to do it with my own creative work. Is that the thing that I am most sort of like, that most moves me, is when you are in the midst of something, be it a book, game, movie, whatever, and you see something rising over the horizon, be it like a plot development, characters, anything. Something is rising over the horizon, and you look at it, and you see the first rays of it, and you say, it can't. Well, I know what it's not. It can't possibly be X. It would be insane if it was X, and there's no way. And then you see, and it gets higher, and you're like, wait, no, could it be? And then it reveals itself, and it's fucking X, and you're just like, oh my, they did it? That happens in Xenogears like 10 times.
That's true. That's true. But if you want to play a polygon-infested mess that's from the same era that it doesn't hate you nearly as much, play Legend of the Dragoon.
Yeah, you can do that too. That's probably
Oh,
smart.
that has the Super Mario RPG combat. It's sick as hell.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, you probably
No,
would
it's really
do that.
good. It looks like shit. I was looking at screenshots of it the other day because I was like, that
Oh, it
was a
looks
good
so
game.
bad.
It's
It
so
looks
I
so
can't remember.
bad.
I can't believe I sat in front of my TV and looked at that garbage. Like I just like, how did I see what was happening?
Oh, it's like when Final Fantasy VIII came out, you're like, damn, this looks good in comparison to 7, and they're just like blurs.
Yeah, but they don't have horse hands and feet, so they look realistic. What Tom was saying about like when you see a work of art, like, oh, it's good. Is it gonna fucking do this? Is this happening? My most pivotal is this happening narrative experience in a video game as a child was the World of Ruin in Final Fantasy VI, because it's just like, they really fucking ended the world, like it's done.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Man, when the thing in Bart's family's fortress, the magical gun that like is their family's birthright that they protect with like their genetic key because it's so devastating and so powerful. When you realize that it is one of the countless guns on the ship that was transporting Deus that shoot at it in the opening cutscene to no effect, and it's just like, oh, that was that the whole fucking time. That was again, talk about there's no way. It's just one of those things from the beginning. I mean, if nothing else, watch the fucking opening anime cutscene of Xenogears. Note, it is impossible to tell what any of this means or what is going on or like what's
not even remotely
what the context is. And then like the game begins, like the first 30 hours, remind you, it's on a spaceship. The first 30 hours is like you are in medieval times. Like, and it's like, what the fuck? And like the fact that throughout you are just getting drips and drabs of like, what was that? And eventually by the end, it makes perfect sense. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that is what you play the game for. You do not play the game to have a fun time. It's a terrible time. Don't play it. Weren't we getting off of Xenogears? Fuck. Let's wrap up the podcast. We're at an hour and a half. Joe.
One more thing about Xenogears.
No.
I'm kidding.
Joe, thank you for joining us. This was a delight. Where can people find more about you and your work, and what book of yours should they purchase?
So my book, The Highlands Burn, comes out May 29th. It's available now for digital pre-order. You should buy that one. You can also listen to my podcast, the Lions Led by Donkeys podcast, wherever you cast a pod. We also have a Patreon, but all of our stuff's on our free feed. You can check us out, leave us a review, say hi. And I'm on social media, but there's nothing of value there.
Yeah, that's true. That's real. That's real. Hell yeah. That's lovely. Yeah, I recommend the Lions Led by Donkeys podcast. I only listened to one, but it was a great one. I'll listen to more. I'm going to listen to it while I go running. It's funny. There's jokes in it. There's a Tom and Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Objectively, yeah.
So listeners, it's not going to be too scary. It's not going to be like you go to a foreign country and you don't speak the language. There's still Tom and Joe.
The good news is we've been doing it for almost 10 years now. So there is a lot of back catalog if you enjoy it.
Yeah, they're in I believe 4 is the leading integer on your episode number. So much to dive into. Anyway, thank you again. This kicked ass. I'm ending the show now. This is the end of the show. I have been Tom, an anime sicko.
I've been Joe, an anime sicko.
And I am Joe. I am a Xenogears sicko, and I want to talk more about Xenogears.
Maybe we'll have you back on for a Xenogears only episode. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Tom Harrison. Joe was also a sicko. You can follow him on Blue Sky at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Blue Sky at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. You can give us money at patreon.com/Anime Sickos if you want. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.